we don't have the same culture as the 17-year-olds, the 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds. And so the idea is that through our Bible club ministry, we train and equip teens to go out and reach their friends with the gospel. Every youth hears the gospel from another youth. Our youth ministry programs are mainly Bible clubs for all ages. We start preschool right on up through college and career. We have our camps in December because the summertime, when school is on break, it's torrential rain every day. It's kind of hard to have a camp in the torrential rain. So they have about a month break in December. That's when we hold our camps. We do various evangelism outreaches to different areas, different villages. And we have a big push for vocational training to give these young people a trade, something to do, something where they can earn a living and not be idle on the street. Well, here are some of our major challenges. We lack facilities to disciple youth who receive Christ. There's a lack of a campground where youth and children can come to experience life in a godly environment. These youth have no clue how to live a godly life. They've never seen it. It wasn't modeled in their home. We've got to start from scratch to show them. There's lack of a facility to provide life skills for the youth whose families cannot provide them an education. Well, the Lord is blessed. A couple years ago, the Lord provided 23 acres of beautiful beachfront property right on the Atlantic coast. It's fantastic. This is going to be the future site of the Word of Life Youth Vocational Training Center. If we could zoom in, you could see Betty there, myself, our director, his wife, a few others. We had gathered together there on that beach to pray and dedicate the land to the Lord and ask Him to use that parcel of ground as an area where thousands upon thousands of young people would come to know Christ and have their lives changed for all of eternity. Another picture of the land before we did some clearing. The future use of the property is we want to build a Word of Life Christian academic and also vocational/trade school. So a Christian school and a Christian vocational trade school. We'll have a worship hall, sports facility. It'll be used as a camp during camp season. These are some artist renderings and a few pictures. So here's the cost breakdown of the preliminary phase, just to get things going, get it off the ground. A borehole, that's a well, a drilled well, $8,000. The water tower, there's no municipal water system to plug into, so we have to drill our own well, pump the water up to a tower where it will have a huge plastic tank, and then the water system will be gravity fed to the property. So the water tower is $10,000, electric connections $22,000, the entrance road, which will be gravel initially, $10,000, and 2 staff houses, $50,000 each, and the grand total is for $150,000. That's what we're trying to raise currently. We've already received $24,000, So we're starting working on the road first, and as the Lord brings in the funds, we'll complete that project. That's the preliminary phase. Then we're going to get into building dormitories and multi-purpose building and all the rest of it. One step at a time, right? And so this is David and Lucy, our directors, saying thank you for praying and giving, and will you partner with us? Betty and I first met David and Lucy while we were in Ghana. Is that 2014, Betty? I think so, 2014. I'm doing good on the dates, batting 1,000. And they had come away to a mission guest house in Ghana for a week, just to have a little R&R and to spend time in prayer seeking the Lord's direction, what to do with the rest of their lives. He had been a church planter for many years, and he sensed the Lord was perhaps changing his direction, changing his focus. They weren't sure exactly what. They met us. I talked about Word of Life, youth ministry, Bible clubs and camps, and his eyes lit up, and he's like, that's what we need in Liberia. Would you consider coming to Liberia and starting that ministry? I said, certainly. And that was the beginning of our relationship. And now David is going full bore with the ministry there. So I would ask you to pray, if you would, for the ministry of Word of Life, Liberia. Pray for David and Lucy. Pray for the provision of finances so that the project will keep going forward. And then, as I mentioned in the beginning, this pastor in Nigeria and his wife that have been put in prison because they adopted a girl, a street girl, and she came to Christ while under their care. And they must be living in one of the states that's a Sharia state, Muslim Sharia state. So that would make that against the law, that she would change her faith. So I think we've got 5 minutes left. Questions? Don't throw rocks. That's happened to me before. Yes? Here's the cool thing about Liberia. I don't even have to change money when I go there. They use the American dollar. They copied our flag. They only have one star, but they copied the American flag. They have the American system of government, and they speak English. So it's pretty easy for me to do ministry there. Great question, though. Yeah. Yes. Well, and sometimes it gets confusing because I've spoken about Nigeria and Liberia, two different countries. Nigeria is where the pastor and his wife have been put in prison. That's a lot more restrictive as far as religion. Liberia is much more open. Much more open. As a matter of fact, we have Bible clubs in many, many schools. We just can't get enough staff. We can't seem to get enough funds to pay enough staff. Every school would love to have us have a Bible club in their school. Wide open. Here, you can't do that. There, they're begging us to come. What a great opportunity. So it's quite safe to do ministry in Liberia. Good question, though. Yes. Yes. It varies because Word of Life is constantly growing and expanding. Last number I heard was 73 countries around the world in 83 locations. Some countries have more than one location. For example, Canada, we have 2 locations, English and French. So, yeah, we're worldwide. We have over 1,500 missionaries working with Word of Life. Am I president of the whole thing? No. No, I thought about running for president, but I'm too old. I am the executive director of Word of Life Canada, not all of Word of Life. That would be Don Locke. Yes. Danny. The name is familiar. I didn't know him personally. Yep. He was probably a club missionary. Yeah. Excellent. Word of Life has been around since 1940, 41. It's been around for a while. Yes.
So are you going to be going to the library? They asked you to partner. Word of Life's going to partner and how are you going to be involved?
My role is I'm the zone leader for Word of Life for West Africa. So I oversee the ministries in Liberia, Nigeria, and Niger Republic. Each of those places has their own director, like David and Lucy are the director of Word of Life Liberia. Now, I oversee that. I oversee the distribution of funds for these larger projects and everything like that. So I travel over there several times a year. Unfortunately, this past trip last month, our director, Stephen Bahago in Nigeria, said, don't come. Don't come to Nigeria. It is not safe. It is not safe. So, good? All right. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Peter and Betty, it's always so wonderful to have you here, and that was all, I mean, some of the things that when you've come before, but this was all seems so very new. Excited to hear about what's going on in Liberia, and just so you know how things work here at the church, we have a Go team that puts together some ideas for giving that we can do that will advance the mission of the gospel going forward. And so Peter and Betty, to their ministry, we give. So when you give to the church, you give to them. If you'd like to find other ways, you could give to them. If you'd like to find out more about their ministry, you can do that as well. But that's one of the things, their ministry is one thing that we support here at the church on a monthly basis. And so we're excited to have them come here and to tell us a little about what's going on, and very exciting. And we thank you for your work, for your leadership, for sharing the gospel in places where many of us will never go. Hopefully, Lord willing, some of us will be able to go one of those places someday and be part of the ministry there. But we're glad we can be part of it through giving. Okay, so with that then, next on Sunday we have our cantata, Sunday morning, and then next Wednesday we'll be in here. We'll kind of have a Christmas fun time. We'll play some games. It's a fun time. We'll sing some songs, and we have a Christmas Eve service, of course, on Christmas Eve, and so we want to invite you to that and let people know about that. I think, is that all I need to announce, Donna? had a couple church members with some pretty major surgeries yesterday, Huey and Bridget. And Bridget's doing okay, but she's had... Yes. Yeah, Pat has introduced us to a young man named Logan who's been battling cancer, and he had kind of a setback this week. And so if you have one of those, grab one of those prayer sheets and look through there, and as you see Logan, remember to pray for him. Remember Bridget, remember Vinny, he's overcoming his, he's still getting stronger every day and rehab every day. And remember Bridget and Huey as well. Okay, well, let me say a prayer and we'll dismiss. Father in heaven, I want to lift up Peter, Betty, and the whole Word of Life team. We're thankful that you have given us the privilege to partner with them as best we can. And we're so thankful, Lord, for the work that is being done. I pray, Lord, for this youth life camp, the center on the beach there. Thank you for those 23 acres, I think it was. And thank you, God, for the many ways that you surprise us and supply for every need according to the glorious riches you offer us in Christ Jesus. I pray, Lord, that they'll be able to finish that in quick time. And I pray, Lord, that it will be a gospel beacon in that country. I pray, Lord, that it'll be a transforming agent among the young people there. To bring hope where there is despair, to bring light into the darkness. And so we thank you for the good work that they are doing there and in Canada as well. And we just want to lift up the ministry and pray, Lord, that the gospel would continue to go forward. Pray that you'll bless those leaders in those different areas, that they'll have wisdom and guidance and sufficient resources, Lord, to accomplish what's needed and faith in you. And we want to pray for those